Welcome to my channel, English IN Story Sleep. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and don't forget to like and leave a nice comment. Love you all, thank you, and enjoy.
In a towering castle surrounded by high walls and shimmering rivers, Princess Razan stood on a stone balcony, gazing at the city sleeping beneath a thick night fog. The cold air stung her cheeks, and the wind carried mysterious whispers as if warning of an upcoming adventure. Razan felt something strange in her heart, as if the forest behind the castle was calling her out. She turned her head and saw a strange apple tree in the corner of the garden, its fruits glowing with a faint green light, as if pulsating with life. Razan approached cautiously, each step causing the tree's leaves to rustle softly, and the air around her strangely became warmer. Suddenly, a small, black-eyed cat appeared, its eyes glowing with a silver light, and said in a whisper-like voice, "Princess Razan, this tree is enchanted, and to proceed, there is an addition math riddle you must remember until the end." An inscription appeared on the ground. "You have 7 apples, and you took 5 more apples from the tree. How many apples do you have now?" Razan looked at the apple in her hand and thought about the answer, but she knew the solution would only be revealed at the end. She told the cat, "I won't reveal the answer now. I will continue the adventure and see what the future holds for me." Among the trees, strange small creatures began to appear, some with tiny wings flying around her, and some scuttling quickly on the ground trying to confuse her. Razan took a deep breath and said, "I will move forward. Whatever the dangers, I will reach the tree's secret." Suddenly, a small sorceress appeared, wearing a blue cloak, her eyes glowing with wisdom. She said, "Razan, every step brings you closer to the heart of the tree, but the forest tests your courage and patience. Remember that every riddle you face is a test of your intelligence and heart." Razan smiled and said, "I will solve every challenge, and I will prove that courage and intelligence together can overcome any obstacle." Razan walked cautiously, guided by the apple's light, until she reached a wooden bridge floating over a luminous river. The wind was blowing strongly, and fog covered the path, but her heart was full of courage. Every step made a frightening wooden sound, as if the bridge itself was testing her confidence. Suddenly, small, shadowy creatures tried to block her path. Razan raised the apple, and a beam of green light shot from its heart, pushing the shadows aside. She sighed and told the cat, "This forest is full of surprises, but it hasn't scared me yet." She finally reached the giant enchanted tree, its leaves shimmering like stars in the sky, and its fruits glowing like pearls. The little cat said, "The real journey begins now. Do you remember the addition riddle that appeared to you at the beginning? It's time to know the answer." Razan smiled and remembered. She had 7 apples. She took 5 more apples. 7 plus 5 equals 12. 7 plus 5. Victory! She placed 12 apples on the ground, and the tree glowed completely, opening a huge gate to the heart of the forest. Razan felt victorious, but she knew that the true adventure had not yet begun. After Princess Razan crossed the glowing tree gate in the first part, she felt as if the forest had become more mysterious and magical. Shadows moved swiftly between the trees, and the ground beneath her feet shimmered with a faint green light emanating from the magical apple in her hand. Razan looked around and spotted larger, stranger creatures, some flying in the air with transparent wings, and some crawling on the ground, making strange sounds as if threatening her. But she felt no fear. She had become braver after the previous challenges. As she walked, another mysterious inscription appeared on the ground. "You have 15 apples, but shadow thieves took 7 apples from you. How many apples do you have left to continue the journey?" Razan smiled and said in a low voice, "A new riddle. It seems every step I take here tests me. I cannot reveal the answer now." Suddenly, a giant shadow emerged from between the trees, crawling very quickly and covering the path in front of her. Razan raised the magical apple, and a green beam of light illuminated the path, while the shadow retreated little by little. Then the little cat appeared, sitting on a high tree branch, and said in a mysterious voice, "Princess Razan, the forest is not just trees and shadows. It also tests your intelligence. Remember that the riddle before you is very important for your next adventure." Razan took a deep breath and continued walking across another floating bridge over a shimmering luminous river. The ground beneath her feet trembled slightly, and the fog became denser, but her heart was full of focus and courage. Among the trees, small shadow creatures began to appear and hide behind trunks, trying to confuse her. Razan remembered the blue sorceress's advice. "Every step brings you closer to the heart of the tree, and every solved riddle lights the way forward." Razan took a deep breath and continued walking across another floating bridge over a shimmering luminous river. The ground beneath her feet trembled slightly, and the fog became denser, but her heart was full of focus and courage. Among the trees, small shadow creatures began to appear and hide behind trunks, trying to confuse her. Razan remembered the blue sorceress's advice. "Every step brings you closer to the heart of the tree, and every solved riddle lights the way forward." She finally approached the giant enchanted tree, its leaves shimmering like emeralds, and its fruits glowing with enchanting colors. The little cat said, smiling, "You have reached the end of this part. Do you remember the subtraction riddle? It's time to know the answer." Razan smiled and said with a confident voice, "She had 15 apples. Shadow thieves took 7 apples. 15 minus 7 equals 8. 15 minus 7 equals 8. She placed 8 apples on the ground, and the tree glowed completely, opening a new gate leading her to the next stage of the forest. Razan felt proud, but she knew that the forest had not yet revealed all its secrets, and that the upcoming challenges would be bigger and more exciting. After crossing the glowing forest gate, Princess Razan felt as if every step she took made the forest more vibrant and mysterious. The trees had become incredibly massive, their leaves shimmering like stars, and shadows moved swiftly around her as if the forest was watching her closely. The air was filled with strange whispers, and the wind howled through the branches, making every movement seem like a test of her courage. Among the trees, huge creatures appeared, some flying in the sky with transparent wings, as if emitting sparks of light, and some crawling on the ground with long arms, trying to block her path. Razan held the magical apple tightly, for she knew its light was the key to survival and revealing secrets. Suddenly, she stopped at a glowing, twisted tree gate, and a mysterious inscription appeared on the ground. You have 4 groups of apples, each group containing 3 apples. How many apples do you have now to continue the adventure? Razan remembered the blue sorceress's advice. Every riddle you encounter here is a test of your intelligence. Focus well and solve it to light the way. As she pondered, huge shadows moved swiftly, trying to block her path. Razan raised the apple, and a green beam of light pierced through the shadows, creating a bright glow that made the creatures retreat. She said, advancing cautiously, "Nothing can stop me. I will solve every riddle and reach the heart of the tree." She finally approached the giant enchanted tree, its leaves shimmering like gemstones and its fruits glowing like twinkling stars. The little cat called from a branch, "Princess Razan, you have reached the end of this part. Do you remember the multiplication riddle that appeared to you at the beginning? It's time to know the answer." Razan smiled and said confidently, 4 groups times 3 apples equals 4 times 3. 12. 4 times 3. Yes, she placed 12 apples on the ground, and the tree glowed completely, opening a huge gate that would take her to the next stage of the forest, where the next challenge would be the division divide riddle. Razan felt proud because she had overcome the biggest and most powerful creatures, but she knew that the upcoming challenges would be harder, and that every step brought her closer to the ultimate secret of the enchanted tree. After crossing the gate of the 3rd part, Princess Razan felt that the forest had become stranger and more magical. Shadows moved swiftly between the trees, and the wind carried strange sounds, as if whispers warning her with every step. The ground beneath her feet sparkled with the green light coming from the magical apple, and the colors of the forest gradually began to change, with glowing flowers appearing and magical dust filling the air. Among the trees, very large creatures appeared, some soaring in the air and some crawling on the ground, making terrifying sounds. Razan felt some fear, but she remembered all the challenges she had faced and held on to her courage. Suddenly, she stopped at an ancient stone gate, and a mysterious inscription appeared on the ground. You have 20 apples, and you want to distribute them equally among 4 friendly creatures. How many apples will each creature get? Razan remembered the blue sorceress's advice. Every riddle you encounter is a test of your thinking skill. Focus well, and you will find the solution. As she pondered, huge shadows appeared, trying to block the path. Razan raised the apple, and a green beam of light pierced through the shadows, creating a bright glow that made the creatures retreat. She said, "I will not let anything stop me. I will solve this riddle and continue my journey." After minutes of cautious walking, she finally reached the giant enchanted tree, its leaves shimmering like emeralds and its fruits glowing like jewels. The little cat said, smiling, "Princess Razan, you have reached the end of this part. Do you remember the division riddle? It's time to know the answer." Razan smiled and said confidently, 20 apples divided by 4 creatures equals 20 divided by 4 equals 5. 20 divided by 5. Check. She placed 5 apples for each creature, and the tree glowed completely, opening a huge gate leading her to the heart of the forest, where the ultimate secret of the enchanted tree lay. Razan felt proud, but she knew that the greatest challenge was still ahead, and that facing the ultimate secret would be a test of everything she had learned: courage, intelligence, and patience. After Princess Razan had passed through all the doors in dark forests and solved the 4 mathematical riddles — addition, subtraction, multiplication, division — she felt that the forest had become more magical and mysterious. The trees around her were so massive that their leaves intersected with the sky, and the fruits glowed with an enchanting green light, as if everything in the forest was greeting her and testing her courage at the same time. Suddenly, the greatest shadow of the strange woman appeared, her eyes glowing like stars and her black cloak hanging menacingly. She said in a quiet but imposing voice, "Princess Razan, you have passed all the tests, but now you face the final test. You can take the tree's power for yourself, or share it with the city to remain safe forever." Razan felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, but her heart was full of courage. She remembered everything she had faced: the strange creatures that challenged her courage, the shadows that tried to confuse her in every part, the mathematical riddles that tested her intelligence and patience, every step she took in the forest, and every lesson she learned. Razan smiled and said with a confident voice, "True power does not lie in possessing the tree for myself, but in protecting others. I will share this power with the city." At that moment, she placed the magical apple on the heart of the tree. The tree shook powerfully, and a tremendous green light energy erupted, engulfing the entire forest, and the shadows quickly retreated. Small creatures appeared around her, joyful in her success, and the city below became luminous and safe. The little cat said, smiling, "Razan, you have proven your courage and wisdom. The true power of the tree was not in the apple, but in the heart of one who chooses good and sacrifice." Then the blue sorceress appeared and said, "You have learned that courage is not just about facing dangers, but also about making the right decision when it comes to others. You are truly the wise princess." Razan felt immense happiness, and she knew that all the challenges she had faced were part of life's lessons. Courage and intelligence together create strength. Patience and correct thinking help face the most difficult situations. Sacrifice and protecting others are greater than any power one can possess. The entire forest transformed into a magical place full of light, and the sky filled with breathtaking colors as if celebrating Razan's success. Razan returned to the castle, laden with experience, pride, and the enchanting memories of her adventure, which will continue to be told to future generations, a symbol of courage, wisdom, and sacrifice.